Welcome to The Greenlight. I'm your host, Shaylanice, and I'm so grateful you've taken the time to listen to our Greenlight conversation. Before I intro my guest, don't forget to leave a comment and give a rating for the show. It helps me gauge how you feel about The Greenlight, so thank you in advance. For today's episode, I have Malia Dishon. An ATLien to her core, Malia is a multi-hyphenate creative who's directed music videos for Kelly Rowland, Latto, Tems, Summer Walker, and more. The tables have turned for this behind-the-scenes queen, and Malia is front and center of the camera with the release of her newest single, King of Lies. Our special guest for today's show is Malia Dishon, and I'm so glad to just get right into the conversation of learning how did you get your start into the entertainment industry, because I know that you have a background with your family of growing up in this space, but I'm curious to know that because of the early access that you had, did that always spark an interest for you, or did you just want to just run away from it completely?
Oh, that's a great question. So, yeah, I think since I was literally immersed in this world since 2 years old, I think it was just natural for me to actually want to be a part of it because it was everywhere. Like, I literally was sleeping on couches in studios or going to video shoots or having video shoots being shot like at my house or always going to concerts. Like, it was just a natural part of my life. So as I'm watching it, I'm just like, oh, all this stuff is so cool. And it always just felt like normal too. So it was just
Right.
like when other people would see like, oh, like Outkast is shooting a music video at your house. So like, I'm like, yeah, those are my uncles. Like, it doesn't feel like weird or like
Right.
something that's like, oh my God. Like, I'm like, oh, those are just my uncles. So I just feel like, I was always inspired, and it always felt like it was in, reach for me because I'm seeing all these people doing it and being successful at it, but I just didn't know how I would be involved yet. Like, but gratefully, my parents are very supportive, still to this day. Thank you. And all of my, just creative aspirations, even as a child. So I wanted to film as a child. So that is what, one of the things that came first. Or you can ask my grandma. I would always, perform for her, but I would perform other people's songs, when I was growing up. So those were, the two things, dancing and then, just filming everything. And then eventually I started to get ideas for videos and stuff like that. So I had clients that I worked with out of high school for social media and digital marketing. And then eventually that led to me, attaining more clients, post college. And I got to work with LVRN and all of their artists. And that's when I started to get actual ideas for videos. So for their artist Rory, I had a video idea for that, and they were always very open, oh yeah, this is a cool idea, if you want to do it, go for it. And then eventually years later, I had ideas for Summer Walker videos, and they were the same way, yeah, this is, if it was a cool idea, they were supportive of making it happen. So grateful for those experiences that then led me to be okay, well, I want to do this more. So in 2020, when, stuff was hitting the fan in everybody's life, the whole world, I was like, okay, I want to make a career change. And I decided to pursue directing and creative directing more full time. Then from there, I just feel like it's just all in layers, because I was being more creative. And then once you're being more creative, naturally, you're going to find other outlets to, explore. So one of my friends passed away, Simon. His name's Simon Illa, and he's a producer, vocal arranger, engineer, just wonderful songwriter. And through that process, because it was really tough grieving through that, I started songwriting. And it was a really great way for me to channel like the really big emotions that I was feeling. And that happened in 2022, the beginning of 2022.
Okay.
So I just kept going. And then eventually I wrote something that I like, which is called King of Lies. I wrote it that year, the same year I started writing songs for the first time ever in life.
Wow, and I can't wait to talk more about King of Lies, but you said something really good, like about it was a progression of like starting off as a child, you would dance and sing, for family, and then high school and college, it was just more steps added to the dreams and just the creative endeavors. For high school, I'm curious to know, like, when you would do social media work, what were you doing? Like, were you like the social media manager for artists, or like, what were the type of assignments you were doing while you were in school?
So it more so started like my last year of high school, right as I was about to graduate. And I was like, I think the first thing I was doing was like running like contests on MySpace to help people like
Oh.
get more followers on there. And I was helping one of my mom's friends do that. And then eventually I met another one of my mom's friends. And I'm just, I was at the meeting with them. And I just went to go get something to eat, but I just kept talking. And eventually it led me into working with Earl Clue, who's a very legendary jazz guitarist. And I worked with him. I still work with him to this day. So, but
Nice.
that was my first like client that I started working with right out of high school. And it was building up their social media, starting like the Twitter accounts, and like, just really letting them know how we were using social media. Because, at first it was just like us doing it, like the youth. And then eventually other people and artists and brands,
Right.
started to gravitate towards it. But, in the jazz world, they were one of the first because they decided to listen to a young person like me and let me like
Nice.
help them for years, over 10 years. I work with them.
Oh, that's amazing. Have you ever, in other instances, felt like because you are young and you're like a millennial that people really don't take you seriously, or they feel that because you have a youthful spirit that it kind of like negates your expertise? Have you ever had, instances
Mm.
like that?
Gratefully, I don't think I've had those experiences because I really started working on this professionally at an early age. And
Mm,
then I was also working in a field that a lot of people they weren't taking the field seriously at first. And then the world
mm,
showed them, oh, you're going to need to take this seriously.
right.
So I don't think I really experienced any of that, gratefully.
Right. Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
Mm.
So for your college experience, what did you study, and was that still on that path of like your creative endeavors?
So I graduated from the University of Georgia. Go Dogs forever. And I studied marketing. So I didn't
Mm,
study anything really creative, but I was able to take some like classes that, related to creativity. Like I took an editing class where I got to make a
right.
cool video. It's still on my YouTube to this day. And it was a stop motion video. And I'm really glad that I did that, because that's what inspired me to do that other video that I directed for Rory, the fly video. So it's like having already like done stop motion before, I kind of had like it just,
Right.
I went back to that and I was like, oh, we should do something like this, but like cooler. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad that I did that and explored some of my creativity in college, at a more like higher level. But I was always filming in college. Like I would just film on cameras and edit for fun, like just me and my friends doing stuff, being silly, doing challenges. Remember the cinnamon challenge? I used to film
Oh my
people
gosh,
doing stuff
yes.
like that and just editing it, put it on Facebook for fun. So I just see now, like I just always had a natural eye for capturing things.
Right. Were you using iMovie or like Final Cut Pro to like edit videos?
iMovie, I still use
I'm
iMovie today.
same.
I have Final Cut, I just like iMovie. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Right. It gets the job done.
Yeah, and what I've had to edit hasn't been that challenging. But for my videos, I do not edit those. I let editors
Right.
edit those.
Yeah, earlier you spoke about directing music videos for Summer Walker, and you've also directed for Latto and Kelly Rowland, and the list goes on. So, can you describe your creative process with working with artists, whether you already know of them or if they're brand new to like the work relationship? Kind of describe like the process for the listeners.
Okay, cool. Well, it really starts with them sending me the song. And then sometimes they give me notes like, oh, we want something like this. Or sometimes it's just a clear slate and they're just like, write freely. So it just depends on the artist. And gratefully, I've had like a good amount of both. I think I've had maybe more of my videos have been just like, oh, like, this is something that I thought of and maybe had minimal notes from them. But yeah, like I just kind of listen to the song and sometimes I just start imagining things like, oh, like it feels like it should be something like this. And then I try to find references online, like on Pinterest or just videos. There's a whole bunch of websites, Shot Deck. There's all these sites where you could just like find stills of from movies or music videos. And then I, just kind of let myself mood board for as long as possible and then have to write the treatment. And I like to do these things in the morning because I'm not disturbed. And I feel like it's just a more calmer time in the morning. And I could just get it done very quickly if I'm focused on it
Right.
and not distracted.
Do you have to like sit and really listen to the song, or it takes or does it take like a few days or weeks to really like
Girl,
visualize,
we don't
kind of
have
visualize?
weeks. We don't be having weeks. You might have a
Oh,
day sometime, or you might have
wow.
you might have a week, which could be, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it
No,
could
no,
be
no,
like
please.
4 or 5 days sometimes. Like, oh, we
Wow.
need, but people be wanting ideas ASAP. So I'm like, shoot, I wish I had weeks sometimes. I might write 3, 4
Mm.
treatments, but yeah, if I'm a creative director, that's different. I'll have more time to sit with music usually, but music videos, you don't have that much time. You gotta submit ASAP.
See, that's good. Yeah, that's good to know because, like, we from the outside, we wouldn't know like how quick these turnarounds are for music videos and how much like how much it takes to put it all together. And
Hmm.
so when you are looking at different tools and Pinterest to get like the mood boards, are you creating like a PowerPoint type of presentation for the artist
Yeah.
or like?
Yeah,
Okay.
so from there, I would put it in like a deck and explain what I imagine happening. And sometimes you use like GIFs, sometimes you use just images, and you can refer to other videos or movies or whatever. And you just put it in a presentation so that it's all laid out really nicely for
Mm,
people to understand. And sometimes I've had to even like record audio of me explaining it for certain
mm.
artists, like as so they could like just listen to it and go along with it.
Right. During the pandemic and you were creating and when you were creating music videos, was it harder trying to like explain your vision, whether it was virtual or just like through a computer screen like on Zoom or something, or is it
Mm-mm.
easier when you have a client like face to face to break it down?
Most times you're not talking to people face to face. Even post
Mm.
pandemic, you sometimes you may not even talk to them at all until you at the
Right.
shoot. You may talk to like the teams or
Right.
management and stuff like that. But yeah, sometimes you do get to have the artist feedback, but it's mostly through like email or text, or sometimes you'll have a call, but it's rare. Like when you're trying to hurry up and do
Right.
something, it's even not a lot of time to talk. It's just like, okay, yeah, we like this.
Right.
All right, tweak this, and then we good. Like it's people
Wow.
just trying to get things done.
Absolutely. And that's so fascinating to hear. So, as a director, are you responsible for creating your team, building your team of like editors and photographers, or like it's you, or it's already given or assigned the people?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So, for me, I work with a production group named Resolve Media, and they have just a plethora of, resources. And they can reach out to certain editors or DPs or, whoever we need. Sometimes I'll make suggestions like, I think this person will be cool for that, or they'll make suggestions. And it's just really like a team effort in
Yeah.
getting those things accomplished.
Okay, so that's good to know that like it really is a team effort
Mm-hmm.
for building the team for the music video, and to make sure that all everyone is clear of the direction and where you will want the how you want the video to lay out. And so with your background of like being a creative director and a music video director, how what sparked you to now become an artist yourself?
Okay. So, yeah, I think, well, like I said, with Simon transitioning, I started to songwrite. And then also in that same year, I went on tour with Summer, and I was working as set designer for the tour. So I got to, go to the shows. And I really feel like when I went to London and went to
Mm.
Wireless and just, felt that energy and
Mm.
saw the fans, it was like 40,000 people there. It was just like, next level, seeing everybody sing the words and everything. And just being in London in general, because like it's something about that place. Like I just was so inspired, and it's not like I was out there writing a lot of songs. I maybe wrote a few, but when I came back home, I could not stop
Mm.
writing songs, and that is when I
Okay.
wrote King of Lies after I got back from London. So I just,
Okay.
I took it all in, and I was like, this is just so nice. And it was very inspiring, seeing her and SZA and Summer and everybody performing. And it just, I don't know, it just made me want to like take things more seriously and have a song that I could perform, one day in front of
Yeah.
thousands of people. So yeah, I came back and just couldn't stop writing songs, and was able to write one that I feel like is really great and amazing and going to catapult me into stardom. Period.
Absolutely, period. And this is such a good moment because like for the taping of this episode, once it goes live, your single would have already been dropped. And so
Mm-hmm.
this is like the days leading up to your single release. So like what are you feeling right now?
Wow, I feel it's so interesting because I worked at a label, so it all of it just feels like work. Like except I'm doing things that I hadn't done before, like the distribution stuff and the publishing and the sound exchange and like all the signing up for all these things. Like I
Right.
knew about these processes, but I had never gone through them for any other artists. And of course, like through my mom, she did all these things like for, my uncles, and she'll tell you like I signed up Future for his BMI account, like stuff like that. So I always knew about those processes from her, and
Right.
like splits and producer agreements, like all these things. And I just it was like really thrilling, I guess, to do those things for me. And I did it all like in
Right.
one day,
Oh my
because I
gosh.
needed to. And I was like, I want my stuff set up right. Like, I want this to feel real,
Right.
And I did my BMI, I did my distribution stuff, I did my copywriting on my song. Like, I just did it all, and I was like, okay, cool. And then from there, I had already had like my my marketing plan, which was basically a template from stuff I used to use for like Summer or Black and stuff. So I'm now using that for myself.
For myself.
And I'm like, all
Yeah.
of this just feels like work that I used to do and like setting up, assets or when I'm going to tease certain things. But I'm grateful that I have all these skills because I just easily was able to just jump right in it, but it was more motivating to do those things because I haven't done like marketing. I haven't had marketing clients in a while, but it's because I wanted to just dive straight into creativity. And I felt like I got a little burnt out, being a marketer. And I'm like, no, I want to be creative, And because it was like really COVID-y and that shit sucked, trying to be a marketer during COVID.
Not fun at all.
So I was like, it was just cool to like reawaken those skills and just feel like I just jumped right back in. But it's nice to be able to do it for myself.
Absolutely, because it's like all of the work and skills that you've acquired throughout the years for others, you're pouring it back into yourself. And so does it feel like more work because you know like the do's and don'ts, what's a success and what's not for others? Do you feel like it's more pressure for you to do well or like to really knock it off, the park first try?
I think I did put a little pressure on myself as far as videos because I was like, look, I gotta shoot a video. Like I'm a whole director. Like I can't just put out some bullshit. Sorry, can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm like, so I'm really sensitive about that. Like I'm like, all right, I'll shoot something, but it's not gonna be my official music video. Like I'm gonna shoot my official music video when I feel like I can do it properly. I already wrote the treatment. I wrote the treatment before I finished the dang song, So like, I'm like, this is what I imagine for it. And I'm very serious about wanting to do what I envision or better, and because like for my cover, I was like, I'm just going to shoot that in my mom's backyard. All I need is a bonfire and just look cute. And gratefully, I ended up in Jamaica for Christmas time as a blessing, as a Christmas gift. And I was like, you know what? We could shoot the cover here. Like my grandma's neighbor is a photographer. Like, let me show him what I did. And I'm like, we could do a bonfire here and the ocean can be behind me. Like, it's going to be so much better than just shooting it in my mom's backyard. So, but I had to be patient for that moment to come along, and then, shoot it. So, it's just the same with the video. Like I don't mind being patient. Y'all gonna get it when y'all get it. Look, we still ain't got Renaissance videos. We still ain't got them.
We still want visuals.
So it's like I don't mind dropping it later when I can do what I actually want to do. Right. So just letting y'all know that from the go. The video, you ain't getting it right now. You're gonna get it when you get it. Enjoy the song and you're gonna get it and you're gonna appreciate it more.
Absolutely. And like I feel like consumers now, we want quality over quantity anyways. I feel like it was a period of like just microwavable type, like quick releases, quick singles and quick projects. But it's like now we want like the full body of work and really like to see the heart and soul poured into music again. And so that's good that like you're going to take your time and when it comes and we're going to love it.
And it's going to be great. Yeah. It's so refreshing to hear you say that because I feel like creatives feel the pressure of like, oh, we got to drop the video right now. We got to do this. We got to do that. Like, it's like, no, make sure the shit is right.
Like, exactly. Yeah. And like really like work a project and like work a song. So yeah.
Yeah, because I'm finna work fuck out this. Okay. Like we having a party on Saturday. Like everybody in the whole world is gonna know this song.
I know that's right. And because like I'm so glad I was able to listen to King of Lies because first of all I cannot stop repeating you're the king, you're the king, you're the king of lies. I love it so much. And so like it's a favorite part of like the song for me that I love where like you're basically saying like what the king does that's like a ick for you, like king of not texting back, king of hiding from you. So as a queen, what are queen things that you want so that you will never experience a king of lies?
Oh, queen things that I want. I love that question. Thank you for asking wonderful questions.
You're welcome.
Queen things that I want. I'm a Gemini, but I'm really a Leo on the inside because I have a lot of Leo placements. So as a Gemini and Leo, I need some grand gestures, like I need some like, this is a story about me in high school. For Valentine's Day, you could put up banners in the cafeteria and give a message to somebody. So I was like, I want one of them. And I wasn't waiting on nobody else to do it. So I put up a banner that says, I love you, Malia, love Malia. And it was the biggest one that you just took up the whole cafeteria. So yeah, like I need to know that I am loved because, with my love languages, like receiving gifts, that's one of them. That's like, I have like 3 that are all very equal, like receiving gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service. Those are very important for me. And yeah, I like the reassurance. Like I like the doing what you say you're gonna do,
Exactly, yeah.
and not just taking your sweet ass time to do it. Like just do it,
Right.
So yeah, I need it's also about the little things, but I need the grand things too, because that's just gonna make me feel, it's gonna make my Gemini Leo soul just feel like, wow, like you really do love me. That's amazing. Or you listened to me when I said that I liked this thing or that I wanted this thing, like I like seeing that people actually listen to the things that I say. Because, sometimes you could just be talking to your friends or talking to your lover or whoever, and you think it just go over their head. And then they just end up getting you that thing that you said you always wanted. And you're like, oh my God, like you actually listen to me. So it's the small things too. It's the details,
Exactly.
So I'm like, let's be detail oriented, but also grand displays of love at the same time. So send me a whole, like, I don't even know how many roses it would take to fill up my apartment, but figure it out and do it.
Inch by inch, square by square. Yes.
Do it. Like I just want to see roses all over my apartment one day.
Yeah. So was that the mood you were in when you were writing the song, or like this was just like a universal theme that you just know everybody needs to hear?
I was mad as fuck when I wrote that song. I'm not gonna even lie to you. And I wanted to, instead of projecting it onto the person I was mad at, I just wanted to channel it into creativity. So I was like, I'm gonna just, because that's my process. Like if I'm feeling angry, I spend time with myself first. I don't try to lash out. I used to be like that. I used to just, I'm like, oh, I'm mad. I want you to know I'm mad and you're gonna feel it. I'm not like that anymore. Growth.
Yes,
so
progress.
right. So I, if I'm upset, like I'll go ground, like I'll go to the park, I sit down, I try to like process it. I take some time away from people or my phone, and I just really try to sit with myself and be like, okay, why am I mad? Like, what is going on? Pull out my journal, do all the things I need to do. And this level of what I was feeling, like none of that stuff was working for that. So I was like, all right, I need to do something else. I need to do all these things and something else. So then I was like, I'm just going to say all the things that I wish I could say right now. And I'm going to just put it in the song. And I had been listening to a lot of Rihanna at the time. And, I'm like, I was feeling like, yeah, I just got back from London. I'll be listening to Rihanna. Like, I'm just in my bad girl, Lily mood. Okay. So I'm going to just put all of that in the song and, see what happens. And I think I definitely wrote a lot more than what y'all actually hear on the song. But over time, I was able to, like, trim it down a bit. And when we actually had the beat, make it fit. Because the thing is, the writing process for this was very interesting for me because I wrote the whole song before I even had the beat. I just wrote out everything, but it wasn't no melodies or nothing. It was just the whole song. And then from there, I started to like imagine melodies, and I really just took my time to gather the ideas before going to the studio. So once I felt like I had something, and actually the first melody I had was the like that's what I had first, and that's what Pat built the beat around, and then from there I was able to put everything together, and like it's like a puzzle, you know. First you have this, and then you have that, and then you know, just make this beautiful song with all the pieces. But you have to let the pieces come.
That's that's true. Yeah, and not force it. Yeah, and so like honestly, King of Lies is like an anthem, and I say that because like it's I. I feel like with the song it doesn't necessarily have to be like in a romance space that you think of like who's the king of lies. I apply this to friendships. It was like a reflection song, like what friends are not giving me the same energy that I pour out, and like you're not texting back, you give a thumbs up on a birthday message, like those type of
Who
things,
did
like
that? Are they still in your life?
no.
Good.
Or like
Good.
they'll see like reposts in your Instagram story of like people saying you happy birthday, and they just breeze by it, and you have my number. Those type of things. It was like a memory like bank going through as I was listening to this song. So I was like, oh yeah, like yeah, it's time to like cut some people out. And then like
Well,
reevaluate. So that is what King of Lies does for you.
oh wow,
When you
I'm glad you had that
listen.
moment, you
Right.
know,
'Cause I
of
was like,
reflection, and that it
right,
wasn't just
yeah.
in the romantic sense. That's
Yeah,
wonderful
but
because
it's so
you know it happens.
fun. It's so
Thank
fun. It's
you.
so poppy. Like, can we expect like with your if you are planning a whole album or a EP, like will more songs come or this is just like a first introduction single of like you as an artist?
Yeah, I'm working on a project.
Okay.
I'm taking my time as I like to
Yeah.
do, but because I want it to be good, and I do take music very seriously, and this is the first song that me and my family, my community, we all were like, okay, yeah, like this is the one. And my uncle Rico, RIP, I got to play it for
Yeah.
him, and
Oh,
I
nice.
played it for him and my uncle KP and my dad, and they were just like, that's your bar,
Yeah.
and this is a song that you beat. And I was like, wow, that's crazy that y'all saying this, because I wasn't trying. This is just the first song I actually felt confident enough to go record. So I think that I know what my standard is, and in the world that I'm operating in. And it's interesting because that's not what I initially set out to start making. Like I was making like R&B or like things that felt inspired by like the 80s.
Yeah.
But eventually, as you keep going, you expand and explore, and then you find a place where you're like, oh, like, well, I do like to dance. Maybe I need to make dance music. Like you need to have that journey of discovering yourself.
Right.
And I'm grateful that I had that, and that my community has been very supportive of that. And yeah, like I'm like, this is who I am, and I'm about to make more stuff like this. And it's not always gonna be mad, or I'm not always gonna be going off on
Right.
people. This is just what initially happened. Now, yes, I have made more angry songs, but I've also made things that are fun and that blend genres. But so far, it's just been a lot of stuff that's gonna make you dance and move. I just now
Nice.
started trying to explore maybe more things that feel a little ballady, but
Mhm.
that's not. I'm trying to just hone in on what I like and what other people like first before going too far left, because
Right.
I
Yeah.
need to, grab the people. Y'all gonna, join this bandwagon. We're gonna expand and grow, and we're gonna do it together, step by step. I'm not about to just, take y'all somewhere else too soon.
Absolutely. Are you thinking of having features on your projects or maybe a remix to King of Lies?
Yeah, I'm working on remixes
Okay.
already. So,
Okay.
that's a little exclusive for you. But
Yay.
yeah, I'm definitely open to collaborating. And thankfully, I've worked with a whole bunch of artists already. So, and some of them that
Right.
I've been able to get really close with. So I'll be like, oh, like, you hear yourself on this song? Like, I can really hear it. Like, just do it. You know? So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have some features and things like that. So you'll see.
Okay, okay. Well, we'll be on the lookout for that. And as far as like the creative direction and just owning your own creative company, is that taking a backseat, or are you still doing both, being an artist and a full-time creative, like at the same time? Like, how are you going to
Girl, I'm doing
balance
it
all of
all.
this?
I'm doing it all,
Oh.
girl. I'm doing it all at the same time. And I think
Mhm.
they all work together because
Yeah.
working, like how I said, like I was doing set design for the tour, and I was writing songs at the same time and recording.
Right.
And those moments were inspiring me as a songwriter. So it's like, being a creative, really, it's just like all of the gears kind of just work together. So if I'm working in a different space with different artists and it's a different medium, it's still helping my creative juices to keep flowing. And then,
Mhm.
maybe that'll spark me to write a really amazing song. So
Right.
because I need, doses of inspiration. I need big ones,
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm,
that's
I'm
good.
still, it ain't taking no backseat, girl. I've been writing treatments. I've been creating decks. Like last week, I was so tired. I was like,
No.
I'm literally like my own independent record label for myself right now, and also a director and a creative director and a singer and a songwriter and a performer. Like all these things.
And so, like, when you say, like, basically you have, like, no days off, like, you really
Oh, no,
just
no,
do
no.
it. Do
I
you?
take days off.
No
I
days
ain't
off?
say
Okay,
that.
okay.
I
Okay,
take
that's
days
good.
off.
That's good. Yeah,
I've been
okay.
busy, but I'm gonna take some
Right.
days off
Okay.
because I
Okay,
don't
that's
like
good to
getting
clear up.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't like getting burnt out. So if I need to rest and I recognize it, I do it.
Okay, and so to that point, how have you had to really decline offers because of the burnout feeling you've had, or did you have to, like, space out different projects that you are
Mm,
assigned to because of that,
yeah,
that
or
need
let
for
other
space? Yeah.
people help me and take over. Like one
Mm.
time, I literally, excuse me, I had to go to Italy for my brother's wedding. At the same time, I had to direct something. So I was like, I gotta go to this wedding. So I'm not
Right.
missing my brother's wedding. But gratefully I work with a team that I trust. So I didn't even have to be there for the shoot. Like I was there for like the
Mm.
scout, and of course I wrote the treatment and everything. But you have to utilize help in
Right.
situations like that. So that's an example of like sometimes you gotta let other people step in and help you.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, cause like I was like a lot of people, they get burnt out real easy and they don't know how to like come back from that. So that's good that you already have practices and ways to like really center yourself and make sure that your well-being is always at the forefront and not at the back burner. So that's
Period.
good.
Man, we not doing that. I got to live. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. So I'm so excited that like as an entrepreneur, you're really tapping into all of your creative endeavors. And I wanted to know like when you took that leap of faith of having your own business, of being a creative director and a music video director, do you still feel like that was the best choice? Or would you offer people who are trying to get into this industry to like sign on to a label where you can have your own division, a part of the team, or just do it themselves? Like, what do you feel about that?
Well, ultimately, everybody has to do what's best for them. What's best for
Yeah.
me may not be best for somebody else. Being an entrepreneur is what's best for me because I never really imagined myself working at 9 to 5. I've had it, didn't enjoy it. And
Mm.
I was like figuring out how to get up out of there every day. So and gratefully I was because I was working on the side with clients and really building them up so that I was able to leave when I felt comfortable enough.
Right.
So, and as a creative, I just felt like I needed more freedom and flexibility in my schedule. Because sometimes I wake up and I don't feel like doing this, and I need to sleep and rest my mind, and then I'll be more inspired to work on whatever treatment or whatever mood board or whatever. But it's like, since I am my own boss, I can make those decisions for myself. I don't feel the pressure of, having to, you know, meet other people's demands so much.
Right.
Of course, like, you want to cater to your clients and everything, but I have more boundaries. And it's like, look, between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m., that's my time. To do whatever I need to do, and I can utilize it how I need. It can be, it can be being at the park. It can be just laying in bed till I need to feel like getting up. It can be doing yoga. It can be eating breakfast. Like, it can be all these things, but it's like I have the time to really like start my day. And also, sometimes in those times, I am writing treatments because that's the time where I'm not disturbed and I can literally just focus on what I got to do. So, I needed to have my own way of going about my schedule. So, if that's what works for you and you're comfortable being in an industry that is like this in that regard, then that's cool. But if it's not, and you need like something that's more structured and scheduled out, then that's what you need, and you should go do that.
That's good. Yeah, it's really, everybody is on their own path and their own journey, and one career for one person is not going to look the same for the next. So that's good. When your singer career is going to take off and it's going to like skyrocket, have you already kind of like thought about who would be a part of your squad? Like your manager, and if you needed an assistant, like, have you kind of like had those kind of ideas of like what's like when those next steps happen, how you're going to like kind of take a step back from being like the doer of all things and like get other people to like and like
Help
get people
me.
to like assist?
Yeah, no, for sure. I've definitely ideated on that, and I'm grateful people in my community and my friends and my family have already started to just even step into some of these roles already. Like, I feel like my baby sister is basically my manager at the same time as my mom and me and one of my best friends. So it's just like, it's really just been a team effort, and they've been, really supporting me every step of the way and motivating me to, put the song out. Because there have been days where I was just like, I don't know if this is going to happen, but it's happening. And I'm really grateful. So yeah, no, I've thought probably about every single aspect of this whole thing that you could imagine from like every angle,
Yeah. Absolutely. And then, I mean, it really just boils down to like your Gemini Leo energy. And then the single's coming out in August. So, like, perfect.
Yeah.
For,
I thought about that. I announced it on a Leo new moon. I'm
See?
like, and that wasn't even the plan, but it was God's plan. So there you
The
go.
timing, was like spectacular. So I really enjoyed our conversation, Malia, and I thank you so much for saying yes to the show. But
You're
before I
welcome.
let you go, I always ask guests to give 2 songs that best represent their personality. It could be singles, it could be a whole album or a soundtrack. So what are 2 songs that best represent your personality?
Wow, thank you for asking that. I love music, like in every kind of music. So that is a very challenging question for me. But I will say, as it relates to this song that I'm about to put out and everything, I listened to Renaissance a lot in that year, and it was very inspiring. So, if I had to choose a body of work, I would definitely choose Renaissance. But if I had to choose a song, it would have to be 2 songs.
Okay.
So, ATLien Superstar, because I just listened to it and I was like, wow, Beyonce, like, you wrote this for me. Like, I'm just so grateful that I just felt like she did the whole album for me. Like, you just gave me the greatest gift, as an artist. So I was like, y'all could think she did it for y'all, but she did this for me. So thank you.
Listen,
And
I love that album
I
too.
love it too. I love it so much. I was listening to it today. So ATLien Superstar, and I even was an ATLien Superstar for Halloween that year. Like, I just felt like I embodied that song, and just even on the like transitional part towards the end, I just felt like I was literally beaming up into the sky and, you know, surrounded by Beyonce's vocals, you know, just in a cocoon of Beyonce.
That's such a dream.
Yeah. So I would say that song, but also just as she's been very inspiring to me, Stevie Nicks has been super inspiring. Like, it's something about her music and her voice and her songwriting. She's just so magical. So her song Rooms on Fire, that's one of my favorite songs. I also felt like she wrote that song about me, even though it probably is not. But it felt like, you know, when you listen to the hook, it's just like, it just felt like, you know, I'm just also just entering a magical space, and every time I walk in the room, like, I'm just electric, I'm just on fire, like, you feel my energy, like, and I'm like, this feels like it represents me also as a artist and as a person. And I listened to that song so many times I can't even count, both of those songs. So
yeah,
those
are fabulous choices, and it's so befitting that you chose ATLien Superstar and then like to choose Stevie Nicks, like a legend, icon, and like you are definitely
Gemini queen,
right? Yes,
okay, yes. Gemini queen, love her.
Yeah, and then like, cause like, you know, with ATLien Superstar, you are a superstar already.
Thank you.
So like, I'm so excited for all of us to just hear not only your single King of Lies, but just the music to come in the future for you, because like, honestly, like, I could not stop repeating the song. It's so good. So congratulations in advance. I can't wait for like the feedback and just you receiving all the love, because you give so much.
I'm my arms and heart are open to receiving all the love. So thank you for your words.
Absolutely. So yeah, thank you so much once again, Malia Dishon. I really appreciate you for joining for the Greenlight Convo.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been wonderful.
If you love today's guest and our Greenlight Convo, please tell someone, your mama, daddy, cousin, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, about the show, and be on the lookout for the next episode.